All right, so there's so much history here at the State Fair. Whether you are new here or you're returning, it's pretty obvious there's a lot of state history here at the fair. So we have Leo Landis, the state curator, with us today. And Leo, just talk about that. I mean, what can people see when they come here as far as the history goes?
Sure. Well, great to be on the show, Shanu.
Yeah.
And so thank you. The State Historical Society of Iowa does a history walking tour every year. So we kicked the fair off at 8:15 with that tour. And we talk about the history of the buildings. The fairgrounds itself is on the National Register of Historic Places. So the buildings themselves are recognized by the federal government for their historic significance. So you can come around and explore places like the grandstand and the ag building, which date to the early 1900s. But our state fair history in general goes back to 1854 in Fairfield. So we share stories like that through the Historical Society, but also lots of other stories too.
Right, and if people who are coming out here, whether it's today or any other day, this week or next week, where can they go to find out some more information about this history?
Yeah, on the fairgrounds, of course, there's a great State Fair Museum that's operated by the State Fair, so that's a good place to learn some State Fair history. And we also, through our social media site, and I'll be tweeting at State Curator IA about...
And you're active. I've seen it. He's active on there.
I'll be tweeting about Iowa State Fair history this week, too, some of the stories we shared. I mean, you know, stories that have been overlooked, like a woman... named Althea Sherman, who grew up in a town called National. It's spelled like National. Yeah. But she was an internationally famous ornithologist, and so stories connected to things like the DNR building, where you can get some good background on Iowa cultural and natural history.
Yeah, and I know the fair is so fun, the food, the entertainment, but how does your experience become enhanced when you know the history of the fairgrounds?
I think it grounds you more to our state's history and Midwestern history, really, because, you know, your home state, Minnesota, has a great state fair, too.
Yeah.
And so it really is a celebration that you get nowhere else except in states like Midwestern states. So if you're wanting to, you know, get kind of the quintessential, and that's one of the stories too we shared this year, is the state fair has been a place for everyone since its earliest history. There was a black family from near Van Meter. The parents had been enslaved in the 1860s in the Civil War era. They moved to Iowa in 1870, and we know their daughters came to the state fair in 1897. So, you know, daughters of people who had been enslaved were enjoying the state fair in 1897. So we've got a long history and legacy of people enjoying the state fair here in Des Moines.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, you do this for a living. You know the history so well. What is it like for you when you come to the fair and you see other Iowans so interested in what's going on here?
Yeah, I grew up in central Iowa. I didn't go to the fair every year as a boy, but knowing how people from all across our state come together in Des Moines, and it gives Des Moines folks and central Iowa folks a chance to see livestock up close that they wouldn't get to see. And, you know, say not every boar in the state weighs over 1,000 pounds, but there are pigs that big in our state. And so to get up close to the animals and understand the agricultural history and stories that are still part of Iowa everyday life for rural families is a great thing for central Iowans too.
Yeah, the fair is such a fun part of Iowa in the summer, but also a good educational opportunity. Where can people get more information that you guys are putting out there?
Yeah, so iowaculture.gov is always a good resource to look for Iowa history stories.
Yeah.
And we did a webcast last year, a Zoom cast on Iowa State Fair history. So if you go to Iowa History 101 and type in an internet search State Fair, you'll get an hour-long program on State Fair history. So that's a really good resource people can check out as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Leo. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
It's great to be great to be on with you, Shanu.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. All right.